Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the channel. I am your favorite tarot card reader, Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corner of the internet. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get more videos every single week. And my beautiful pumpkins, today's video, we are going to be doing a new moon reading, and I believe that if you have come across this video, whether it's in your subscription box, whether you came across it on your homepage, you are browsing for it, this is a reading that you are meant to hear right now, no matter when you come across it. So we are going to get into this. We are channeling the energy of your spirit guides, as well as the energy of this new moon that will be taking place tomorrow. It is a new moon in Gemini in tropical astrology, and it will be taking place It will be taking place at 9:22 p.m. June 17th. I believe that's Pacific time. So just be aware, be advised that this new moon is coming up, and this is the energy that's going to basically carry you from this new moon to the next new moon, which will not happen until it's going to be sometime in July. So this is what is going to be coming up. We're going to be answering so many questions with this reading. We're going to be answering basically what the heart of the current energy is. We're going to be answering what the magic is that you are currently possessing that's going to help you moving forward. We're going to address what the current lesson is that you're learning, what you need to let go of right now in order to progress, what your spirit guides are really grateful and just proud of you for, the energy in your life that's gaining momentum, the dream that you are now ready to fully actualize, advice on how to do that, and the outcome that will come before the next new moon. So if you want to dive into that, go ahead and stick around. Before we get in, I do want to just let y'all know that I did a miniature, tiny restock of my life purpose readings, as well as my Saturn return readings. Those are new to my store, and y'all ate them up when they went on sale earlier this month. So I put just a little tiny, a quarter restock in. So if you want to grab those, or you've been trying to get one, or you put yourself on the waiting list, and maybe you just missed that they were back in, I'm just letting you know that those are available to you at my store, KhloeTaylor.com. It's the only place you can get a private reading from me. My course, The Authentic Self, is also available to you if you feel like you are on the path to finding your authentic self. It's $12, and it comes with both audio guide and a 20+ page workbook to help you basically manifest and become your most authentic self. So let's go ahead and get into this reading. I am going to be live shuffling with you. So we're just going to take these. We're going to start with a theme from here. Now, this deck, I absolutely love. All the decks I use, of course, will be linked down below for you. This deck is where does this deck come from? This deck comes from Threads of Fate. I don't know if they have an edition exactly like this one anymore, because I think that they've upgraded, or I don't even know if that's the right word, but they've changed some of their stuff a little bit. So the editions that they sell now might be a little different than this one, but same concept in their cards. But we're just going to get a theme first for your reading. And then I have a couple of other decks we'll be using for this reading as well. So as I'm doing the live shuffling, let me just tell you a little bit about this new moon in Gemini. I actually feel like the energy of this new moon is pretty positive. Gemini is our great communicator, right? That is their archetype, the archetype of Gemini. And this doesn't mean that you have to be a Gemini to be a part of it. This can be there is a Gemini placement in everybody's chart. Everybody has a Gemini house if you render your chart in a whole sign house system, which is what I use. So wherever Gemini is in your chart, this is what will be activated. If you want to know more about that specifically, how it will affect your chart, I do have a weekly astro and tarot video up on my Patreon for this week that goes over that in detail. But link for that, of course, down below. But that will give you the individual for astrology. This is more about the tarot energy of what's coming. So in any case, we'll start with the theme. So we have movement. Ooh, I feel like that's juicy. That's exciting. I feel like this new moon is a time for you. It's not just like physical movement. It's not just like exercising the body or something like that. This is actually a new moon that if you've been feeling stagnant in your life, this new moon is going to kind of jumpstart you into actually keeping the promises that you're wanting to make to yourself, changing your habits. I'm seeing like some of you are committing to new routines, but it's creating movement where there has been stagnancy. So those of you that have been really like stagnant in your career, or maybe in finding friendships or connections, or anywhere where you have just felt really, really blocked and stuck in your life, maybe you've been repeating, ooh, that's really a strong message that's coming through, is you've been repeating past cycles and you're frustrated. Like you have maybe even been screaming to divine, like upset that things have not been moving forward in your life in the way that you would like them to. And you're just like, listen, dear divine, I will do whatever you need me to do in order to move this needle forward. I just need some kind of forward progression to be shown to me. And what Spirit is saying with this coming out as your theme is where you have been stagnant, things are going to be unblocked, because not only do we have like the snake that represents the Kundalini rising, of course, we also have this egg in the center, and eggs are a huge representation of rebirth. I would say snakes are too, because snakes also shed their skin, right? Their old skin, old patterns, outdated ideas, outdated paradigms. So this is exciting. This is like a new start for you. So let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to be using now the Moonology Manifestation Oracle by Yasmin Boland. We'll actually use this throughout your reading. So this one, we're going to continuously pull from it. So I'll give it a shuffle and then we'll just kind of set it off to the side, because we're going to answer each of those questions that I listed to you. Okay, so I'm just going to set this right over here off camera, kind of to the side. And then we're also going to be using this Akashic Star Child Tarot. I got mine from, like I said, everything will be linked down below. Can you tell I don't live shuffle on my channel a lot? I feel like most people would like be quiet and shuffle, and I just want to talk. Listen, I just want to talk. But this is the Akashic edition of the Star Child Tarot. It's, who makes this? I think it's Danielle Noel. But I get my decks from Tarot Stack for this one, which is absolutely wonderful. I have so many new decks actually from Tarot Stack to show you in our next reading that will be coming soon. But this one comes from there. And it's just really like, if you're into that, like, what's the word? It's like composite photography. You're really going to like this deck. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so the magic residing within you, this is what we got for this cycle. We have New Moon in Aquarius, Open Up to Change, and the Empress. So with what is changing in your life right now, the magic that you actually possess is, number one, to create a new trajectory for your emotional well-being. And I say this because the Empress is like the card in tarot that it usually will show like the mother archetype, which this doesn't mean that you're a mom or that you have kids or that you identify even as female. Okay. I just want to make that very clear. This is just an archetype. All of us wear different archetypes at different points in our life. And the Empress is like the impregnated woman. And so this doesn't, again, it doesn't have to be children. This can actually be that you are fertile with ideas. You are fertile with creativity. You are ready to birth something new into the world, whether this is rebirthing yourself, rebirthing your habits, rebirthing your friendship circles, rebirthing your financial status, your career. It could be that you're actually like in a fertile time period right now. If you're trying to get pregnant, that is something that this can depict for you. But New Moon in Aquarius, Open Up to Change. I feel like Spirit is saying to me that many of you have been just stagnating yourselves. It's not that like outside influence is not, I'm not trying to Divine is not trying to tell you that there aren't outside influences like your job or circle or connections or relationships. It's not that there is no outside influence, but there is a lot of internal belief that your situation cannot change, that it can only happen in one way, that you cannot accomplish X, Y, and Z until A, B, C, D happens. And what Spirit is saying, the magic that you have during this month-long time period that this reading is for, is that you have the ability to actually create something so completely different from what you originally thought, different, like possibly even, it's like having a change of heart about what you will and will not do. And I think you're also getting a lot of confidence because Aquarius is the sign of authenticity. That's like part of their archetype. So the sign of authenticity mixed with this like creativity, creative flow, it's birthing new creations and putting yourself out there. It's also a little bit of like, I'm hearing the word rebellion, like a rebellious energy of you're tired of your own BS. You're tired of, in the past, telling yourself all the reasons why you couldn't do something, all the reasons why you can't make TikToks, why you can't put yourself out there, why you can't, and those of you that aspire to be like in social media, I just want to lay something on you really quick. Your social media is not for your family. It's not for your family. It's not for your friends. It can be if that's all that you want to use it for. But if you're somebody that aspires to actually create something with social media and like make money for yourself doing that, you have to literally decide that you are going to go out there and be you, and that it's not for your family or for your friends. And if they want to watch, let them watch, or not. I also am a big proponent of blocking friends and family on social media if it's going to make you uncomfortable. I am that person that has my own mother blocked on most of my social media accounts because a lot of my life lessons that I teach about in a lot of the things I make, they implicate her because she has been my greatest teacher in many ways of who I do not want to become in my lifetime. And it's easier for me to put those things out there authentically if I know that she's not watching. So just remember that. I don't know why Spirit wanted me to share that with you, but it's not for your friends or for your family. If that's going to stop you from being yourself authentically, block them. Sis, hit the block button. We don't have time for that. But ultimately, you're getting your creative spark back and you are feeling rebellious and like you're not like, I feel like in the past where you would sit and just tell yourself all the reasons you can't, you are now saying like, we're not listening to that anymore. That's over. That's done. So what we have next is the lessons you need to know this at this time. We have the Lovers and the first quarter moon in Taurus release control. I don't know which one of you keeps showing up to my readings that you are just not in the right partnership for you and you keep refusing to see it. And this is now the second time we've done a reading like this and we have had either the Lovers or like the Two of Cups pop out. And the lesson that you need to know is that the more you try to control the situation with your significant other, or you try to control them or make them into somebody you want them to be, or also refuse to see that they are not good for you, the more damage you do to yourself. This is like the lesson that you're learning right now. You're also learning how to be your own best friend, I'm hearing. If any of you feel like you are lacking connection in general, you're learning how to be more fond of yourself. I also am hearing that like, I don't want to just be like, oh, it's shadow work, because sometimes the Lovers is shadow work. But I also feel like sometimes, like, notice how much light there is in this picture. Sometimes shadow work, you can also overdo it. And sometimes you don't need to get in there and do the deep work over and over and over. Sometimes it is as simple as just changing your mind. And I know that that is, I feel like something that nobody in today's world wants to talk about anymore, because don't get me wrong, there is so much value in getting in there. I mean, shoot, I have an entire course that goes into like depth psychology modality, even though it's not meant to be like a replacement for that ever. I have a lot of like disclaimers in it, but it's kind of on the spectrum of depth. and going more into yourself to learn more about yourself. Sometimes you just need to like smack yourself on the ass and be like, you know what? We're just not going to think like that anymore. And just every time the thought comes up, we retrain ourselves to think a different way. It actually can be that easy. It doesn't have to be months and months and months of digging and digging and digging and digging, because sometimes you actually hurt yourself by doing that, by always thinking that something is wrong that you need to fix within yourself. And sometimes it's just like some nonsense that your mind pulls out that you need to be okay being like, my mind's having a weird day today, and that's okay. But basically, like, releasing control of your partner, of your relationship, and deciding to shift all of your focus onto yourself. Shifting your focus to yourself, because ultimately, especially if you are somebody that does try to control your partner a lot. I don't know who this message is for, but somebody here does this, and it's not like you control them to like the degree of what they wear and how they behave, but like when you insistently keep reminding your partner to do things that they need to be this way and like nag, you release the opportunity that you could have had to see what kind of person they would be without you constantly interfering. And don't you want to know who that person would be if you weren't always interfering with them? Always being like, oh, did you pay this? Did you do that? Did you do that? Did you do this? You didn't do the dishes yet. Oh my gosh, so many people do more. Like, when you act like that, you don't give them the opportunity to see who they actually are. So just, I don't know who that message is for, like I said, but there's some shade in there for sure. Not for me, but Spirit is like, hey, look. So then we have what you need to let go of at this time. 3 of Crystals. And we have Be Humble, first quarter moon in Leo. That's interesting. 3 of Crystals. You know, I need to just check really quick. I want to make sure that crystals are pentacles because I'm actually not sure in this deck. It looks like that is yeah, it is. Okay. So the 3 of Crystals with something to let go of. It's friendship. It's support. It's letting go of, I don't want to say that you're going through like a breakup, because I think this would be very different. The cards would be different, but I feel like you really, really heavily rely on the support in your life. And that's okay. Like I said, I think we need people. Something that I always tell all of you is that, you know, even animals, they're born with something that they do first. Like deer, they start walking, right? Humans cry. We cry first. And so we're, from the moment we are born, we are seeking to get our needs met through other humans. And so like we do need each other. Truly, we need each other. However, I feel like with letting go, the more you actually, like, to me, this is almost like an incessant grabbing. This is like a constantly checking in on a friend, constantly checking in on a loved one. And some people need that. Don't get me wrong. Some people require that in their relationships. But what I'm really seeing here is that with your relationships, there's been a little too much. And with letting go, it's almost like if you've been incessantly like, it's this feeling of like need somebody else's approval, somebody else's opinion, somebody else's interaction. I'm not telling you that this is a bad thing, but I do feel like there's been a little imbalance in your life, and the support system that you currently have, you need to release it a little bit, because usually what happens is the minute you stop really talking as much to someone, if you're constantly always the one pulling, they will notice. They will notice that you're not pulling, and they will either reach out to you, which if that's what you're wanting, you'll usually get what you're asking for, or the connection will kind of slow down and you will let nature take its course. And wouldn't you rather be connected with someone in your life that like that person actively wants to engage with you as much as you want to engage with them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's something about your support system right now that needs to be released. And I'm not sure why you're being told to be humble about it right now. That kind of strikes me weird. Like, I feel like this is such a weird card. Because I get the sense that you might not have a ton of connection. Especially because it's like one person with like their animal companion. And then like, I'm not getting the sense that this is like a large friendship group. I feel like it's smaller. But I feel like when it comes to being humbled, I always say, screw being humble. I'm that person. I can't stand it when people say that because I feel like we're always humbling people over things that are not necessary. I kind of want to pull one more card on this because I'm just not really sure. Like, Spirit, I need more clarification on that. Why are you giving us the humble card? I'm going to use a different... Ooh, this card jumped. Okay. Ace of Swords. Interesting. So Ace of Swords, this, like, look at that sword. It's literally like cutting something. So I do feel like this might be the severing of a relationship because there's also the Seven of Swords, which is like betrayal. And then Ace of Pentacles, like... Ace of Pentacles is really like a financial gift. Like there are some gifts in this. Like the Ace of Swords is the gift of communication. The Ace of Pentacles is the gift of financial well-being. There is good things about this relationship, but I also feel like there's been a lot of either you or them pouring the wrong things into each other right now. Or like there is like something that does not feel like an equal exchange, and you just need to kind of sit back for a little bit. And yeah, that's ultimately what I'm getting. I genuinely don't see this as a breakup. I think it just needs to kind of be timed out. So I'm going to let you decide what that means for you. So next we have what your guides are really proud of you for. We have the Four of Cups and push through any insecurity. So the Four of Cups, this is about like feeling like the opportunities that you desire aren't available to you, but it's very much like a lack mindset in terms of what you think you're able to do, create, be, or have. And what happens is when you're so focused on what you don't have, you create more of that. And you don't notice the opportunities that you have. But what Spirit is saying that they're proud of you for is you've been pushing back on this insecurity. You've been pushing through, you've been pushing back, you've been putting in dedicated work into yourself. You have been noticing where you are saying these things to yourself, where you are thinking these things. And you have been challenging yourself either in your relationships or in your day-to-day life to think, see, and speak differently. And you're on the right track. Spirit wants you to know that. So they're really proud of you for like stepping up on that. Next, we have the energy gaining momentum. We have the Two of Swords and reflect on your priorities. So the Two of Swords, this is about having to make a choice. You're at like a fork in the road, and reflect on your priorities. This is a time of you gaining great clarity because remember, you're moving right now. There is movement, not moving, but there is like movement in your life where you felt stagnancy. So this is going to lead you to a tough decision. That is the energy that's coming up for you. And I do feel that like, if this has been resonating with you this whole reading, get your phone notepad out or a piece of paper and ask yourself, what is like the number one thing that you want to create in your life right now? What is the number one thing? Is it a significant other? Is it a certain kind of friendship group? Is it a monetary status? Is it a career? Is it a certain home life? If you could pick one that is the number one priority that you think it would shift your whole life if this was different, I want you to write down what that is and then ask yourself, who would you need to become in order for that to happen right now? Who would you need to become? What would you need to do? I don't think you need to like put your integrity in there and do things that you're not proud of to get what you want. But I do think that you maybe have been a little hard on what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And Spirit is saying that you need to reflect on the priority and actually make choices that are in alignment, because right now there is this inconsistency going on. But the energy that's gaining momentum is you're going to have to make a choice to either remain consistent in something or just reprioritize what is the most important thing to you right now. This is also a good time if you ever feel like you need like a life, not like an ikigai. Ikigais are great too, but what is it called? Like a life review. It's June. We're in the middle of the year. This is a really good time to do a life review. Ask yourself about the different categories of your life and see which are more of a priority to you right now. And then decide what you want to commit to honor those priorities. Because like I said, I do feel like you're going to have some choices coming up for you. And the thing with the Two of Swords is if you don't make a choice, the universe will often make the choice for you. And it's not always the choice that you would have preferred. So when that card comes up, I always feel like it's a little bit of a warning. Okay, so moving on to the dream you are ready to make a reality. We have the Ace of Crystals and full moon in Leo go wild. So the Ace of Crystals, this is a new financial opportunity. This is money coming your way. This is maybe even stepping out of the box and doing something that would create different finances for you. So it could be like applying for a different job, applying for a promotion. This could be starting a new idea, something that is going to give you something good financially. This is something I always like to look at aces in the tarot as like gifts from the universe, that you're given energy for something. And here's the thing. When you are given energy for something, you need to fulfill it because, and this comes from Elizabeth Gilbert in Big Magic, her book. In her book, Big Magic, she talks about how when you have ideas are not yours. They don't belong to you. They are their own entity and they attach to a host that they believe could fulfill it the best. So if something has come to you, wanting to be born through you, we have big Empress energy, wanting to be born through you, if you do not act on that, it will move on to somebody else who will do it. And the thing is, I feel like so many people will get stuck on this of they stole my idea, da 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 da. No, you didn't carry it through and do what you intended to do, so it found another host that would do it. And I also don't even, there's so many good stories in Big Magic about this, about how that happened. And like nobody stole from anybody. It was just like a synchronicity that happened. But like, you have to be the one that decides what to do with this Ace of Crystals energy. You need to act on it immediately when the idea comes. Because I feel like this reading, a lot of your stagnancy has come because you have refused to act on ideas. You decide to prioritize different things in your day that like do not go in accordance with the person you're trying to become. And oftentimes I feel like what this looks like is there was something that I posted on my social media a long time ago. It was like a month ago, but it was so good. It was something about like, don't let a moment of dysregulation in your nervous system control the kind of day that you're going to have. And ever since it was something like that. It was worded way better, but that was basically the gist of it. Is like, don't let a moment of dysregulation be the thing that sets your whole day up now for, I'm dysregulated, I can't do anything, this is what I need to do. Don't get me wrong, I think there's room for that in everybody's life, but if you feel like this is an everyday occurrence and you're not acting on the things that you would like to create in your life, you're going to keep seeing opportunity pass you by. You're going to keep seeing the negative consequence of not making choices when the Two of Swords is at stake here. So, I'm sorry, I know that's a little bit of tough love, but Spirit is being pretty serious about it. So advice on how to accomplish this. Literally, what did I just say? We have the Eight of Crystals and cool your emotions. Oh my gosh, I'm psychic. I know that we knew that, but like, how? This is I could not make this shit up if I tried. So 8 of Crystals, this is literally doing something to mastery, perfecting your skill, perfecting your craft, doing something again and again and again and again and again until something hits. This is how every single person, unless they're like a nepotism baby, every single person that you have seen, sorry, my camera cut off there for a second, but unless you're literally like a nepotism baby, as I was saying, every person that has done something, become something, created something, they have had the courage to put themselves out there. But on top of that, they have kept hitting the iron until it was hot. Like, you have to keep hitting the iron until the iron is hot. Even in my own career as a YouTuber, I've done this twice over now. I did this in the gaming industry. I went by the name Coffee with a K. If you ever want to find that channel, it's type Coffee Sims, because now there's like a music artist that spells it the same, and they always get traction over those old videos. So I had like several videos hit over 1 million views, but it happened over time, and because I kept striking until I got something. And same here, I kept making tarot videos because I felt really called to it, and spiritual videos, and doing stuff that like my soul really lit me up to do it. It didn't really feel like work. I felt like I was just playing most of the time, until one of my videos blew up and it literally made my whole channel. And everything I do is kind of built from that. So that's what I mean. Even if you're not a digital entrepreneur, no matter what in your life you want to change, what habit you want to create, what kind of relationships you want to have, you have to keep striking until you strike gold. If you want better relationships in your life, you have to put yourself out there and actually try to connect with more people. Put yourself in the hot water constantly. I mean, obviously, don't like flood yourself if it's something you're not 100% used to. You can do it slowly. But like, gosh, I think it was Lindsay Atkinson. I love her so much. She's a great social media person. I don't even know what, she's a digital creator, I guess I would call her. But even Lindsay Atkinson talks about this, how she used to be so anxious, and then like she moved to New York City, but was always in her house and anxious all the time. And now she like rides the subway everywhere and does things with her friends in the city. And it took constantly putting herself in the path of riding the subway, of making plans and sticking to them, that allowed her to create a lifestyle that really honored her, with friends that really honored her, and she honors them. So my point is you have to keep putting yourself into the fire. You have to keep putting yourself into the fire. That is how mastery is made, by putting yourself out there and reminding yourself what you're trying to do. And cool your emotions, literally exactly what I just said. Literally not letting your emotions dictate the kind of day you're going to have. Now, I'm not telling you if you're having a sad day, you cannot have a day where you just want to lay in bed and eat cookies and chill. Like, I get that. That is something that I think is everybody's human right. However, if this is something that this is every day of the week, or even like 4 days of the week, I would encourage you to seek counsel where you are able to, but also put more in your day that is actually going to lift you up. Don't keep listening to the news. Don't keep watching all the shows on Netflix. Find YouTube creators that inspire you. Find podcasts that inspire you. Listen to audiobooks that inspire you. Fill your mind with information that will actually churn new ideas over in your head, instead of just, I want to say Mimi Bouchard, of the Superhuman app creator, talks about this, like numbing yourself out. And I get it. We all do it. We all do it. We all have coping mechanisms that we rely on when things are too much. But you have to know if this is something that's happening constantly and it's keeping you from acting on the things that you want to do. You're the factor that has to change. And it's not because something's wrong with you. It's not because you did anything to deserve this. It's not that. Like, you could have been dealt a really shitty deck in your life, a really shit hand, but you get to decide how you're going to play those cards. And Spirit is saying that the opportunities are available for you. What you want is there. You just need to decide to commit in a new way and possibly do work that is harder than you're used to. But the more you show up for it, the more it's going to change you in a good way. And then the outcome, oh my gosh, look at this. The outcome, we have the High Priestess and the full moon in Sagittarius see the bigger picture. The High Priestess is somebody that is in tune with their emotions, doesn't let them overpower them, but uses them to their advantage. This is somebody that is usually highly psychic as well, like gets like a vision of what they could create and what it could do for the world or for themselves. And they will put that into action because they see it in their mind's eye, because they're like psychic and they get these cool visions. The High Priestess is also about discovering hidden knowledge. I feel like this is also a call. If you're somebody that is very logic based, this is a massive call to get more into the spiritual side of yourself. Not just doing things on your own either, like seeking people that are really into that can even be more like a mentor to you, even if they don't know you personally. This is why I always, always, always advocate for podcasts, reading books, joining Twitch communities, doing things that put you in the path of learning more about secret hidden knowledge, more about spirituality, because in order to become more comfortable with it, you have to put yourself in the path, kind of like we've already been talking. So the outcome before this next full moon, or new moon, excuse me, next month, that's the outcome, is feeling more aligned, feeling more like you have a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you, feeling more connected to it. And also seeing the bigger picture of it all, seeing why you had to go through the things that you've had to go through, why it all makes sense, and how now it's different, but for the better. So ultimately, I feel like this next month, it's kind of a whirlwind. I'm not going to lie to you about it. There's some like interesting stuff here. There are some positive notes. It does kind of seem like you are going to have to put more action into what you're doing, regardless of what you're trying to shift in your life right now. What area of your life is something you want to make a priority, and what can you do to put yourself in the path of that priority? That's ultimately the reading for this time period, because movement is the theme, not stagnation. So what you do and commit to that stagnates what you're trying to do, it doesn't even mean you have to do none of that. Ultimately, you're just trying to do less of it. So that is what I have for you. I know this reading was a lot. Honestly, I feel like I need to go outside and like take some deep breaths. I feel like I just like schooled a bunch of people, and sometimes readings like this make me uncomfortable because I prefer to always have a gentler approach, but sometimes spirit snaps like that. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the spirit guides that showed up for this reading today are ancestral. I just want to like say that, because I feel like it's usually the ancestors that talk like this. Spirit guides that are non-ancestral, they tend to be a lot softer. But ancestors, people that know you personally, they tend to be a little bit harder. So I don't know if y'all got some serious ancestors that maybe you already knew in this lifetime, but I feel like they were the ones that would be coming through. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you do have a wonderful new moon in Gemini. I hope that you are feeling really open to communication, feeling open and like you can use your voice in a positive way, or even your written words. Those are also fall under the sign of Gemini. And please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And if you would like to, please do not forget to check out my website, KhloeTaylor.com, where I have the life purpose readings available, Saturn return readings available, as well as my authentic course, my authentic self course, if you'd like to pick that one up. Everything is on my website. Remember, that's the only place you can book me for a reading. I would never go to your DMs and do none of that. That is some spam or nonsense. I don't do that. You can only book through my website when readings are available. And if you'd like to follow me around the web, I'm at Kloee Taylor. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity, new episodes every Monday at 4:44 a.m. Pacific. This next episode that's coming out, we're talking about all of the habits that kept me broke on Monday, and I'm really excited. It's definitely an interesting episode. And last but certainly not least, if you'd like to join my Patreon for exclusive weekly readings, as well as community night, we have a community night coming up next weekend. It's actually a community morning. We're doing like 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm actually going to be going over life purposes and how to find those in your birth chart. So if you want to be a part of that, it'll be live. You can ask questions if you bring your birth chart with you. I'm going to show you where to get it as well for free. And Like I'll show you where to access your birth chart for free and like what to look for in your own birth chart. And if you can't make the live event, it will be something that will be recorded and available on my Patreon after the fact. So in any case, I would hope to see you there for community morning. I know I'm just going to call it community night, even though it's not nighttime. So I hope to see you there for it. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. Best of luck over the next month. I know that you've got this. Spirit would not bring you to this message if you were not meant to hear it. So I know that you've got this. All right. I'll talk to you again in the next one. Bye.